Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Sundance, the 2025 edition. My name is Alex Helisek, and we are going to bring you the latest in independent films and film festival news from right here in Park City. So stay tuned for some amazing interviews, and thank you again for watching Breezeway Productions. It's premiere day. How are you feeling on premiere day?
I feel really excited. I feel curious to see what people are going to be feeling in there.
Right on. I was able to attend the panel yesterday you did with Variety that talking about risk-taking. Yes. So tell me about Hal and Harper and the risks that were taken for this project.
It's like the biggest risk because it's an independent TV show and it's like 4 hours and 30 minutes. And it's like, it's just, no one buys TV shows already made. And also it's hard to get people to watch that much material. So it's a massive risk because we literally don't have a home. So if we don't have a buyer, it's going up on YouTube.
Okay. What's your take on pilot season? Because the pilot season changes every now and then, so I'm just curious why you decided to go this route instead of doing it as like a single pilot.
I had the whole show, and I know how to make things in a cheap way. So making the pilot would have been expensive, and making 8 episodes is expensive. It's more expensive, but really in the grand scheme of things, when you think about the idea of making a whole package and just handing it over, that's the movie model, the independent movie model. So that was the idea.
So we know that you've had Cha-Cha here at Sundance and that it's been kind of a launching pad, and you're back again with Hal and Harper. How do you feel that Sundance does when it comes to exposure for the project and where it can go from after Sundance?
It's everything. They lift you up from the ground. Like Sundance is the reason why people get excited about independent things. We made the show in a way that it didn't really make sense for us to go to Sundance because there was so much time in between the finished product and Sundance. But I was like, we have to go to Sundance. That's the way to birth it into the world.
We're speaking with
Christopher Mired.
Chris, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. So tell me a little bit about Hal and Harper, how you got involved in the project, and what you're excited for audiences to see.
Okay, Hal and Harper is a story of a brother, a sister, and a dad, and obviously other people around that have an extremely codependent relationship on each other. Went through an extreme loss of their mother at an early age, and just navigating their family life, their romantic relationships, and their friendships. And then you said how I got involved. Came across like any other audition. At the time, me and my team were looking for projects that differed from what I was already doing. And this came across, this drama piece. Went to audition for Coop. I think I read the scene once, and then he just got up, and he was like, "Can I hug you, bro?" And I was like, yeah. And then we hugged it out. And I think that was for me, him being like, "You got it," and then that was for me being like, "Oh shit, this guy's really, really cool," And it made me excited to work with him. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. What was one of your favorite moments from working on this? There were 8 episodes that were shot for this series. Is there a specific episode or storyline that you like?
What's up, dude? You look great.
You do?
Yeah.
So what was it like working on this project?
Favorite episode, favorite moments.
Favorite episode. Wow.
So I guess that's it.
Unfortunately. Favorite episode, I would say the first one, man. First one, it's just so it's probably the lightest one, which is good. There's a lot of funny stuff in there. I think my first scene is my favorite scene just because we really improv'd a lot of it, and it's just funny. Yeah.
Nice. So we're talking about comedy. Who's one of your favorite comedians, or what's comedy that you like?
Comedians stand-up or what?
Yeah, it could be either. When you think of comedy, who do you think of?
When I think of comedy, I think of Eddie Murphy, man. Eddie Murphy comes to the set, delirious, raw. That's what I grew up watching. Nowadays, I think, Dave Chappelle's the GOAT. My father, he's a driver, and he drove Dave Chappelle during his tour in LA. Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock, they had a tour. So I got to meet them and be around them, see their process, be backstage and shit, and shit was legendary, bro. Yeah.
What? Tell me a little bit about what you picked up from them, watching them do what they do, like how Chappelle ended up doing Chappelle Show and him becoming who he is.
Yeah, honestly, they work really hard, man. I know a lot of people, they are being themselves to a degree. But it's not like they just hop out there and just say shit. They work really hard, hours and hours of preparation, hours of rehearsal. So it's just another confirmation of the work never stops. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You just came off something very emotional.
Well, this whole thing is really emotional. It's really exciting. We all worked really hard to get this thing off the ground and to make it and to have a really long and precious post period, and it just feels really surreal to be here and super emotional.
Interesting. What was such an attachment to this project that makes it emotional rather than just another film to be working on, or a series?
It's my favorite script I've ever read, and I was also a producer on the show, and that was so special to be there every single day and be a part of all of the parts coming together and helping support Cooper in his vision and trying to do it independently, so we didn't have to compromise that at all. And it's unique to see that happen, and unique to my experience in other films that I've done. And I just am so proud of it. I've been so proud of it the whole time.
So the series takes place in the 90s and the 2000s. So describe your attraction to that era, because when I think about it, it feels like yesterday, but it was, some years ago. So tell me about your feelings towards the 90s and the 2000s.
Well, I grew up in the 90s. I love the 90s. It's so crazy to feel how far away that feels now, and how we didn't know how good we had it. Right. But just that sort of calm before the storm, before this big tech explosion, before our connections to people changed in such a big way. Huge. In a lot of ways we're more connected than we've ever been, but it's harder to feel close. And I feel really nostalgic and grateful that I had that time when I was a kid. And that's what's really great about the show is it feels so close, so it's familiar, and you can just it's not that far away. Even 2009, you're just like, oh yeah.
Right. So this show shot all of the episodes instead of doing one and going out and shopping for pilot season. I was just curious from the producer's standpoint what you guys are hoping for now that you've shot the whole thing and looking to shop it around, and where it would go, the roadmap for it.
We're hoping to change the world. Good. We want to find the biggest audience for the show. We think it's really special. We think people will love it, and it will resonate with people and have a big impact. So we're looking for the right home. I mean, we were so lucky to make it independently and not have to compromise the vision in any way, and that was so lucky and so special. I think we all feel really lucky about that, and we believe in the show so much, and it's just right now we just need to get support of the audience that's about to see it, and hopefully we find the right home.
Nice. If you can describe this in closing, how would you describe this series in your own words? If it could be put into a summary altogether, what in your own words, how would you describe Hal and Harper?
Okay, I would describe Hal and Harper as a show that is about growing up, our relationships to the people that we love, how to witness and see the people that we love and be a witness to ourselves, and create bonds and connections that are authentic and accountable and healing and deeply, deeply loving.
We're speaking with
Clementine Quittner
and Daniel Lewis.
Clementine, Daniel, thank you for taking the time to speak with me today. Tell me about your role on this project.
Well,
we executive produced it.
You go first. You define the roles better than me.
We've been with this project for many years now. We helped develop the scripts from an early stage, many drafts with Cooper, late nights going over the entire arc of this show and refining it, and then we put it together, and we were able to sort of create this model to use that was largely based on an indie film model, but it felt really innovative to us, and it was just a product of us talking about how do we want to make this show, and then how do we back into that from a financial structure and from an independent model to sort of give Cooper the creativity that he needs, and that will make the best version of this. And we were on set and made it.
Definitely, yeah. I think that we achieved that. I mean, we've both worked with Cooper in various capacities for a long time. I mean, the show you were developing, you guys, that was years ago. And I just think this is something that we've been, just for years, even before formal development, have been developing this show with him basically forever. And it's the thing that we've wanted to make most, I think, in my life. It's definitely the thing I've wanted to make most. And so, I don't know, we had I guess the question was about our roles. We had many roles at many different points throughout the process. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So yesterday I attended a panel where they spoke about Hal and Harper, and that it was about taking risks. He said that they shot the episodes and that they didn't know where it was going to be for distribution. It wasn't just the pilot, it was all of them. So that's a huge risk. So as EPs, how did you know you wanted to jump into it, and what kind of roadmap did you have for where this would go afterwards?
I mean, I think we definitely were really figuring it out as we went. We did sort of figure out this model that we know we wanted to use because it would, help us have the most freedom on set, give Cooper the most freedom creatively, and, really be in control of the project and how we make it, how we sell it, and hopefully just give everyone on set a bunch of freedom. So it was definitely, it was a risk because we didn't really know anyone who had done it before.
It was a weird thing where it was both a big risk and felt like a total no-brainer.
Yes.
Because this is sort of, this way of making things is the world that Cooper comes from, and he has such a specific voice and vision for each one of his projects, and I think he works best when he's just sort of given the room to do it. And he's shown that twice with Shithouse and with Cha-Cha. So we were sort of like, let's just do that again, but make it TV. And if we can make it indie enough, then hopefully we can appetize someone to help pay for it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that the script, people will see it, but it is a script that's very undeniable on the page. I think that we always felt really confident in it. And we also have always sort of thought of it as, it is somewhere in between his two projects, his prior projects, Cha-Cha and Shithouse. It's somewhere in the middle. Shithouse was wildly indie, tiny, I think, I wasn't on set for that, but I think it was like 10 people on set. Cha-Cha was a much bigger kind of studio production company back thing, and this, it was really small, but we had an amazing cast and we had amazing crew, and we found it somewhere in the middle, I think.
We're speaking with
Donna Lisa, the costume designer.
Very nice. Nice to meet you. My name is Alex, and I'm curious to know about the costumes in this project.
Well, the costumes in this project were extremely fun. They take us through a lot of timelines, actually.
Okay.
Although it's a contemporary, they're contemporary costumes. We actually dip into a lot of 90s and early 2000s.
Okay.
So I kind of had more to play with in terms of my character arcs, because we go through a lot of transitions and a lot of costume changes throughout this one.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's wild to see that the era of the 90s and the 2000s when I grew up is now considered like vintage when you're shopping for what they wore.
We're with you.
Yeah.
I know, it's fun.
It's super interesting. What describes the 90s and the 2000s in terms of style and fashion and costumes?
Well, in terms of the 90s and early 2000s, I think silhouettes were huge. So things that were like a little bit like more flowy and looser fits.
Yeah.
The high things were a little bit more high-waisted. So and then early 2000 actually it changes. The pants got a little lower. We see some more bellies. More, exactly.
Very nice. Do you have a specific costume in this project that you loved the most out of all of them that you did for the talent?
Honestly, it's hard to pick from all your children, right? But I really had fun with Cooper's character, Hal.
Okay.
I really loved a lot of his silhouettes. I had a lot of fun playing with layers with him. I'm a huge fan of vintage, and we got to dig into my own personal archive that I've been collecting for years.
Nice.
So some of those gems really got to play, and that made me very excited.
Wonderful.
And also, as a career person, it was really exciting to see you step into this role.
Thank you.
What was it like crafting this character in this relationship?
It felt very free. I felt that the constraints that I felt in other situations to play a very specific thing that's on page was lifted off of me, and it was all just very collaborative, and I was able to kind of create her as I go. There wasn't too much rehearsal. It was sort of let's be in it, let's be present on the day, which I really love, and there's room for improv, and I didn't have someone telling me, oh, you said this instead of this word, and that could be sometimes what the situation is on set, and I appreciated that we had more freedom. So I enjoyed the freedom, and just to play a queer character was really nice to tap into that real side of myself, which was lovely, and represent her. And then it was a pleasure to work with everyone in the show. Is such a phenomenal and real actor. It never felt like I was going to work an acting
acting. It just felt like I was in a scene and I was with a partner, and so I was blessed to be surrounded by the talent and the crew. Yeah, that we had was just, they were so game and down, and it was great.